Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these sectors, topics, looking for individual companies to invest in. I share those with everyone in the community. I also share my approach, my strategies, basically everything for this commodities bull market. So if you're interested in that, we still have the Black Friday coupon code that is active. It will stop going active at the end of Friday of this week. So if you want to jump on it and get a larger discount on the yearly membership, go ahead and sign up by Friday. All right, let's dive in. Let's take a look, see what's going on today. We've got a weaker dollar. A lot of people talking about a weaker dollar. We're down 0.57%. I'm looking at this, and what I'm trying to gauge is, are there any sort of falling wedge patterns? Because generally what occurs is you can get a falling wedge, which is a bullish formation. In bearish formations, we generally see things that go upward. So you'll see things that are going upward. And then usually when that trend is done, you start seeing trends that go downward. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. It could be a downward trend. Um, but again, it's kind of early to state that. I'm just stating what potentially could come and what you want to look for. Uh, if we are going to break out of this and go lower, what we want to do is we want to see a lower low. We want to see like a trend broken, and we want to create a lower low. So we want to keep coming down and creating a lower low as we go through these. So that is something we can look for. And right now, the momentum in the very short term is to the downside. Yields are generally the driver. So the 2-year yields continuing lower. Today, we were up 0.34% on the 2-year. But for the most part, we've been heading lower. The 10-year was flat, but we've got momentum to the downside. And then the 30-year is down 0.18%, and the momentum's to the downside for the 30-year. Looking back out, could this be one big, um, I'll say flag pennant formation where we break to the upside? That is still in play, guys. That is still in play. This pullback in rates, that's not in the bag yet. So, I mean, remain open. And remember, we can draw some of these lines different. I drew this line coming on up as a potential possibility. I can also draw this line through here, and we get potentially a different outcome. So it depends on what's going on here. Um, the downtrend crew, if you're in that camp, you got to break below here and get below that for me to be like, yeah, we're going lower for sure. Right now, that's not in the bag, guys. Not in the bag. TYX TNX ratio. Why I look at this is when this is going down, that's historically not been a huge tailwind for gold. It doesn't mean gold can't go higher. It just hasn't historically been a tailwind. Now, I think that they could be manipulating these interest rates to some degree. Maybe. I mean, the US Federal Reserve is the biggest manipulator of interest rates, which is the biggest manipulator of the price of money. But we're at a very inverted state. We're way down there. If this comes back up, what that means is the yield curve uninverts, they win behind precious metals, specifically gold. The LT bond prices, we are up a little bit today, and we're up above support. Now, this bond market, this has had a shellacking here. And I hate to say it, but this broke to the downside. And our bounce, we'll see if we get back above some of these resistance levels. So far, it looks good to go higher, and we'll see what kind of follow through we get. 2 and 10 year, The yield curve inverted today. The curve in terms of the two went up 0.34 and the 10-year was flat. And obviously we're staying inverted here. We're kind of just slowly working our way down. Now, when this falls like a rock, that's when the problem is seen. Are they setting something up here where it's going to fall like a rock? They could be. Who's they? The government, Federal Reserve, whoever the heck runs this thing. And I don't even know who runs it anymore. But whenever we get these large downward moves, that is where we get that scare or fear in the market. Gold's down $22 an ounce. This isn't a great looking chart at the moment. We came up, kind of looks like a shoulder, head, shoulder. We broke down with some pretty good strong selling pressure here through support trend line, the uptrend. We then got massive selling pressure again here as we worked our way on up slowly and then got hit on the head again. And now we've been consolidating sideways. That's generally works its way lower when you get this type of move and this type of move. Now, here's the weird thing. This type of analysis I'm doing right now has not worked on the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ. It makes me think, this is just me, that they are doing something with gold and that they're doing something with the NASDAQ, crypto, and all these markets. I know for a fact these guys don't want anybody to be over here. They don't want us to be here. And the fact that if we continue to see resilience where you get a push lower and then it comes up and it kind of just sits, they got to continue to push this if they're going to push it. So what we don't want to see is we don't want to break below this level here and create a new lower low. The first step when you look at this for a reversal change, you create a high, you break through that resistance, you create a lower high. That's step number, step number 1 is the breakout. Step number 2 is a lower high. And step number 3 is creating a new lower low if we're going to go into a downtrend. So that's what I'm looking at this time. That's where I'm getting my bearishness from, if you guys want to know. So that's what I'm looking for. If silver looks good. I don't see the same setup in silver as I do with gold. But again, we'll see what kind of follow through it has. It's been moving on up, and that still looks okay. Platinum down a little bit. This thing has been just held down almost, and sideways squeezing. I do think that's going to eventually work and break its way on up. Why will it go lower? It can't go lower for a sustained period of time. You can do this, but I don't think you can stay down here because they'll just cut all of production. And then palladium, we've pulled on back. We're back roughly working our way. I think we could come down here. That is a possibility. We've come on down, so and we've only gone sideways, so we could come back down to that support region down there. GDX basically sideways, GDXJ sideways, and SILJ sideways. So are we going to build off this momentum and work our way on up, or is there still selling pressure in here? Obviously, I'm not a huge fan of the gold chart. I'd like to see some more buying pressure. We're not in a downtrend yet, but again, you break uptrend lines, you create lower highs, and then you break to make lower lows, and that is a new reversal. Now, I'm not stating this is going to happen here. I'm just telling you what we look for. XE to gold ratio, this thing is super cheap. It's down in cheapness land. Looks fantastic from a long-term perspective for an entry point. I know some people say, well, it hasn't broken out of the 5,000 trend line resistance lines. Correct. But to make big money, you have to buy it early, and you have to buy it when it's really cheap, and then you be patient. You work your way on up. Now, that could be the difference between 20x versus 5x. You know how many 5x's you need to get a 20x? You need 4 of them. Basic math, I get it. But it's easier to wait an extra year or 2 years to get a 20x than it is to try to get multiple 5x's. So it's very difficult, in my opinion, to make up for gained clarity and lower risk. It's tougher to make up that difference from a very good entry point. Crude oil down slightly today. Now, this isn't a ton of selling pressure here, and hopefully that doesn't burn me tomorrow where they get a big down candlestick, but bullish engulfing, hitting resistance on here, which gave a bearish engulfing. Buyers versus the sellers. We're competing now. Coming on down, big shot up, selling pressure down. So I'm looking at the contraction of these movements, and they're contracting in both directions, but they've been contracting lower, lower, and lower. So we entered this from the top side down, and we've seen smaller, 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 smaller contractions. I think that this is favoring the buyers unless some event comes, which it could. But this looks good for me to work its way on up. The buyers have been the sellers. You're coming from the top side down. And when you get that type of alignment where you come into a period that just goes back and forth like this in a real tight range, that's generally a preceding move to the upside. ETF gas down a little bit. It started at this guy here, and we've been consolidating sideways at this time. We'll see which direction we want to go here. Natural gas up 1%. We're still above support. Still looks good. And we very well still could hit a retest. Down a little bit is still possible. XOP, yeah, you know me, down just a teeny bit. Not a ton of follow through here. So we're kind of just sitting and waiting. We are above support, which is this line going across here. And we could do a retest. We are doing that in XLE, which basically we've got good support right underneath us. So this is from a bullish perspective. Breakout up, retest, and you guys know what I do with retests. I accumulate. Yes, you got it right. OIH down a little bit. Not as clear of a looking chart as, say, something like XLE or even XOP, but it's trying, and we've been consolidating sideways here. Newcastle coal futures continuing to sell off, getting a little bit of momentum here built to the downside. And we could go down a little bit lower. Maybe we come back and create a right-hand shoulder. So shoulder, do logarithmic here, blow it up a little bit. Maybe we do something like that, and it could dip like this. Sometimes right before these big breakout moves, they like to dip and do a washout sale, get everyone scared, and then they rip it back up and squeeze shorts because people start to short it too. Crop Physical Uranium Trust down slightly today. This still looks good. We've got a nice big bullish candlestick, small selling pressure. I think we're going to go higher. We're probably going to see positioning in the equities too. That looks good. Uranium moving sideways. Still looks good. Nothing bad here. We've got Uranium URA ETF right on support. Bullish, piercing, engulfing, which is generally a bullish candlestick. We've got a formation that looks like it's squeezing into the falling wedge. It looks good. It looks good. We've got Uranium also looking good. Nice little bullish engulfing today. That generally works its way on up. And I like how we're squeezing. So when you look at things, when you pull back, you want to squeeze into a dead period. The dead period's this sideways action here. Then you want to look for us upward move because we came from the upside into it. And then URNJ is doing the same thing. Nice little bullish engulfing. Higher, higher, higher is what my inclination would be here. Copper looking good. Big bullish candlestick, just sideways action, bloody nose, up, up, up. We've got COPX also putting in a bullish engulfing. We got one here and here. We came from the downside up, consolidation, then higher. That's where I think we're going. Iron ore down a little bit. Still, it's down a little bit today. So what? You know, we've got a broken downtrend here, so I think it looks good. Just I'd be bullish on it to go higher. I'd take some time. Aluminum right at resistance still. We've got nickel up 0.92. It's trying to put in that bottom, gain some momentum to head back higher. We've got Mu down just a little bit today. Looks okay. We're just bouncing around in this general area above support. Emerging markets up a little bit, 0.66%. We had a weaker dollar. Yep. This is all the weaker dollar. Yields were mixed. So we'll see what happens there. Carry down just a little bit. We do have this ugly looking gap here, guys, and that very well could fill with these little red candlesticks. We've got tan down 1.64. I don't even know how I look at this. I don't know why is anybody even buying solar. But you know what? We got to buy a bunch of silver for it, right? Lithium down barely, right on support, trying to break on up. Here we are going sideways. Be patient, it'll break. REMX doing the same thing. It's just pulling back real slow, pulling back slow, pulling back slow, and then I think we'll rip up. So your double bottoms here, you broke on up. You've got some sort of flag pattern consolidation going on. And maybe I don't have it perfect there, but even if we come back and do a retest back here, I'd still be bullish. Baltic Dry Index down. Man, this thing's just been down, 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 down. Momentum's lower. I don't know when it's going to turn here, but let's take a look. I'd be looking for, we entered that and broke it to the downside. So it's bearish at the moment, but I'd be looking at companies here soon. XHB down 1.5%, getting some selling pressure there. Back to support. Still above support. We'll see if it holds. Russell 2000 down 1.25, getting some selling pressure there. A little bit of a selling pressure. S&P 500, a little bit of selling pressure there, and we're up in cloud 9 up there. NASDAQ continuing, well, we're down a little bit, but that's upside momentum, continues to look good. We've got SMCI down a little bit, some resistance through this area here. We've got NVIDIA down just a little bit, right at resistance coming on through up. Momentum still to the upside, though. We're just encountering resistance. Bitcoin with a huge wick at the top. All the chubs out there, you know, you gotta get your rocks off because we broke out. Yeah, this could be a return move, kind of a retest. So we'll see what happens here. Could just be a retest move, and maybe we can work our way back up again if it is a retest. Ethereum also getting a little wick at the top, but that looks good. Momentum up. The next thing you want to do is you want to look for squeezing. You know, look for squeezing in this pattern here. If we start to squeeze and we start to get some reversal candlesticks where the big red boys show up, maybe we could do a short-term reversal there. But at this time, it still looks okay. I'll leave that in there just for the heck of it. Oh, whoa, micro strategist strategy. I get it. Yeah, we'll see. This is not the ideal looking chart. Big bearish engulfing, saying that we're going to head lower or go into a consolidation. We got another big fat reversal candlestick today that wants to put downside pressure. What this means is that you're encountering a lot of selling pressure in both of these days here. I mean, a lot. When you gap up, so this is the trick here, guys. What they're going to do is they're going to gap this up in the morning. They're going to get all the retail guys all sorts of giddy on it. They're going to get them all, you know, the little chub hard-ons that these guys are all going to have. They're like, I need to go buy some Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. It's going up. It's going up. So you look at it, and then what they're going to do is they're going to gap it up, and then they're going to sell all day on you. They're going to sell. The retail's going to be like, I just want to make money. I want to get rich quick. And then they're gonna gap it up. They're going to sell you off. And if you see that, that's probably distribution. It's the big boys. They gap it up in the morning and then offload onto retail people to get them all emotional. Like, oh, it's gonna run, and then they just dump. The Jesse Livermore trick. If you guys want to read that book, create all that buying demand and just offload it right on them, right on their face. And the VIX is still pretty low. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Black Friday coupon code still active. One word. if you want to join, I do it probably today or tomorrow, or today I would say, because no, today would work. Tomorrow would also work for Friday. This isn't the update on Twitter. So everything looks good for the most part on a lot of stuff across the board in commodities. A little bit of weakness in micro strategy. We'll see if that persists. That's all I've got. So we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.